Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of Tech Horizon, From Thesis to Site, Engineering the Future of Construction. In this episode, we challenge the traditional view of construction as a mere production phase. Today, I'm joined by Faik Haddadin, a seasoned industry veteran with extensive experience across the UAE. Faik, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Faik Haddadin. I am Senior Director in Arada, managing Dubai portfolio for vertical development. I am doing my PhD in British University. I'm in the last year for project management, vertical development. Currently, I'm managing several towers in Dubai, belong to Arada. Previously, I worked as a Vice President in DAMAC, managing also a portfolio of vertical development. And I came from Emaar background of managing downtown Opera District towers.
Thank you, Faik. So you've spent several years in the construction industry. You've seen it all. If we're thinking about the move from 35,000 units to 300,000 units, we've talked about this being a speed limit, but you're saying it's much more than that. Do you think the risk at this scale is a lack of labour or a lack of system of record, or is it something else?
Let's go back like 10 years back, where we measured the construction of speed of casting slabs, speed of assembling the logistics, speed of progress and all. And that was the only measures of how we are progressing the project, how we are doing construction only. Without having a look about the upcoming risks, because if we compare the number of units that been delivered in 2024 in Dubai only, it's around like 35 plus units that have been delivered by end of 2024. And if we look to the figure that in the pipeline, how many units that will be delivered by end of 2029, which is 300 plus units that will be delivered in Dubai, we have to keep our eye on how we're going to operate, how we're going to hand over these projects. So now we have to adjust the scale of how we are assessing the progress, assessing the successful, or measuring the successful by how we're going to operate those units. So I believe, in my opinion, the scale need to be as how we going to operate, or how we can went in a smoother transition between execution to a delivery stage.
Thank you. And if you think about, as you said, that 10, 15 years ago, what it looked like, what about your role? What do you think you were doing differently? Was it, you've mentioned measuring more of a reactive where we are against the speed of that. What are you doing differently today?
When I start my career, definitely we look to the high rise as a number of slabs, or the cycle, the speed of the cycle. How fast we progress in casting element, we doing finishes and all, and we always treated the construction as a static planning, as a static approach, a static construction approach. We always keep a risk of doing changes, keep a risk of implementing any changes during construction, which is also currently we are facing as a old-fashioned management of the high-rise, where they are always resisting look to the iteratives and changing and addressing the data of the project. That was the scale. That was the traditional way of assessing the progress in a vertical development. But when I continue in my career and start looking after a portfolio, I start facing a challenge where when I reach to the handing over of the project, reach to the building completion certificate stage, I always face this challenge. And to be honest, my PhD thesis, it's apart from its academic framework, academic model, it came from a site suffering topic. It came from a site matter, where honestly, when we reach to the handing over, and there is funny things where we have a service provider come to the project, and the first time hearing about some service that being provided to them, so they were shocked. I call it like service provider shock. where and it's causing also delay, and definitely that's impacting the end user, impacting the customer, and impacting the market demand as well. So we need to look to the market demand. We need to look to the customer needs, because customer always now they don't look to how the project was challenging. What is the difficulties in project? Customers, they need to see how we're going to operate the building, how we're going to provide the required services. So in the time being, I believe that we need to look to the transition period. We need to look how we're going to operate those projects.
And you've talked there about the race at the end to try and get everything together, find all the information for the service provider.
Yeah.
Obviously, within number of units increasing sort of almost 10x, how does that change? I'm assuming that becomes more of a digital process. Is that what's happening today?
That's boardroom versus site. So when we discuss something in a boardroom and decide to invest in digital integration, decide to invest in AI during execution, we go back to the site and we start from like level lower, where we are convincing the team not to save the data on their personal laptops and personal devices. Why I'm highlighting this? Because we need to set up the mindset of the construction team from management up to the construction team, site office, that they need to look to the project as a data ecosystem. They need to the project as a data engine, because by having this full integration, what I mean by full integration, it's not about AI driven tools, is it or instrument, is it good or not? This is not my specialty. My specialty is to have the full integration from site capturing instrument, a digital twin, and also full integration between this system and the project model, which is, I believe, also Procore providing a wide experience in this. That need to be established during execution to allow the management of the site look to the project as a data engine, and focus on the project as a helicopter view, focus on a target, focus on how they're gonna deliver the project in the best scenario.
I like that. See the project as a data engine. I think I've seen project sites where they see that the project itself isn't a data engine, it's just a data store. There's endless sheets of paper. I was at a site a few months ago now when it was much cooler, and they were just carrying around rolls of paper. So you're talking about devices. That's not everywhere at the moment as it is. And they certainly don't look at the capturing of the data that you can get on site. How do you think we change the mindset around that?
So, we are building intelligent towers. We are building intelligent project, intelligent master plan. But unfortunately, we are treating it and handing over as it's in 2004, 2001. So the mindset, it need to be as a project as a data. Project as important. The data is important as a steel and concrete. Same. The data can damage the project as a structural defect. Exactly the same. So the mindset need to be changing from the static programming, the static construction methodology, the static mindset into a data ecosystem, a journey of data ecosystem, starting from design up to the handing over, allowing even the service provider to come earlier, allowing budget for the service provider from the execution budget. So the people will have their time understanding the system and start taking over the system, reviewing operation manuals. So I believe the mindset need to be changed on site, as well as top management and chairmen. They need to go up with the maturity level of the organization, invest, because if we apply a full integration, if we apply a full data system as an AI integration from the design and execution, that will allow them to take the full system into the next master plan and increase the maturity, increase the performance of that system, because it's auto learning. We are talking still about AI, right? So as much as we do an integration, as much as we are getting better product for the next project.
That's very accurate. And the AI can only be as good as the data going in it. And if you've got limitations on the data going in it, or if the data is incorrect or out of date, then the AI is not going to be very good. And the advice it gives you, the recommendations are not going to be accurate. So if we think about AI from sort of that perspective and the single source of truth, and we talk about the different teams, the different roles on the site, how do we manage that single source of truth to make sure, A, you're getting all of the data that you need, and B, it's accurate, whilst making sure that it's happening in an agile way? You say it needs to be the engine of the data engine. Yeah. How do we do that today?
That's a very good point, where, as I mentioned, we should not treat the integration or the AI integration, in especially in vertical development, as an individual system and individual process. We should have it as a system. So what I mean, it's not about having a camera on the helmet and taking an update from the site and plug it and introduce it by a human, okay, updating the data still, because what I mean by a full system, it has to be fully automated. So when we are having a site capturing instrument, it has to be plugged in with the digital twin portal. It has to be plugged in with the portal, and there is two important factors in this portal, where we need to have all access for the required site team and stakeholder collaboration. Stakeholder collaboration by having the authority, by having the third party, structural third party, maybe third party, plug in the same portal, so they have the level of the reliability, the level of trust of this information, because still the human factor as an input within this process, it might cause a delay, it might cause error, some factor of error, because we have to have a full system linking these processes together as an AI driven system between the instrument on site, drones, AI cameras, laser scanning, and automated, plugged in with the digital twin portal. And that portal already have embedded the 4D or 5D model, BIM model of the project, which is reflecting the progress, reflecting the deviation, and providing the required report. So when the management also have access to this portal, so they will see what is the deviation, they will see what is the forecast completion date of the project, they will see the actual cost of the project versus the priced value of the project. So yeah, in my opinion, we should treat it as a full automated system. And there is one important thing, as you mentioned, human factors. If we look to any extension of time or an admissible delay that's been awarded during construction, and look to the fragment cause, you will see it's a missing data. You will see it's a delay of providing data. You will see delay answering an information. It's something linked to a factor that delayed by a human. So this is my opinion. It shall be a full system linking all processes, even from the concept design, from the visibility up to the handing over. It has to be fully automated system.
I think that's such an important point. And I know we've spoken about it before. We've talked about the fact that Procore focuses on the collaboration, and we fully believe that every role, every person within construction needs to collaborate, because then it gives you the best data and gives you the best performance. If we're thinking about a digital system such as Procore or another, and the data that's coming into that, does it help you to spot that domino effect that you mentioned of one thing going wrong and the knock-on impacts?
What's the operation always demand? Demand on traceable data, available of information, reliable information, and definitely under umbrella, as you mentioned, accuracy. Okay, so the collaboration between, let's say, stakeholders, site team, design team, it has to be within the same system, within the same integrated system. So my answer is yes, of course.
We're talking about AI. We're talking about collaboration. We're talking about automation. In your experience, what roles, what teams should be fearful of AI and what it's doing today? And which, on the other side, are the safest?
Always people asking, AI replacing staff, AI replacing consultant, replacing design team and all. My vision always opposite.
Okay.
The new era, it's required more team. They are familiar. They are trained to use AI. They are trained to use the highest technology in order to execute and deliver a project with excellence operation. And the people who should afraid or that will be affected by this, who like the management of projects, mega project, who keep their construction approach in a static way, in an old version of execution. People only focusing on a cubic meter of concrete, focusing on a tonnage of spreading the rebars, speed up the execution, focusing on the physical elements on site, okay, and forgetting how this product will be delivered, how this product will be operated or will be like transferred to the end user. Those people will be the affected people, those management, those mindset.
You shouldn't be worried for your job as long as you're embracing AI, as long as you're looking at the holistic view of what's happening in construction rather than each little micro action that happens on site. If we're looking at that and we're thinking about the entirety of the construction process and how we see that as a whole, what do you think the sort of next phase of that is? We've got data, we've got the AI, what does bringing that together look like in terms of the leadership team?
By addressing full integrated system, and if we establish the required, at least not the highest level of maturity, the capability of integration, that will allow us to two things. Allow us to go with the next level of customer experience. And also the second thing, which is the scalability to scale up the business safely. That will allow the leader to look to the wider range of investment safely, because they will not be worried about any experience like what we experienced recently about the geopolitical events, about COVID. So now we are like stronger. We are ready for any event that should be treated as a hiccup maybe, but if in the future nothing will stop the construction execution, since we are operating it in an automated way, in a full system way.
Perfect. And you're spot on there. I think seeing the resilience of the UAE as a whole and the construction market, when you mentioned COVID, you've mentioned the recent conflicts that we've had, and linking that to the digital maturity and how the organizations respond, how they combat that and what they do to focus on that. It sounds like you're saying sort of being digitally mature allows developers to be more agile, allows them to transition and focus on how they compete and how they deliver to their clients. Is there an element of digital maturity that you think almost preempts and supports that disruption and makes them more resilient?
Yeah. Digital maturity, it's if I can call it in academic way, it's a moderator for resilience, organization resilience, or developers, resilience of developers. So higher level of AI maturity, of integration maturity, higher level of capacity, readiness capacity, that will allow for higher level of resilience. I will talk about Dubai as a developers, as I cross all, starting from Corona, experiencing delivery with Emaar. We deliver units more than the previous year. That's mean the vision of the leaders here in this city, in this country. It's totally different than how people look at the construction. Going to the recent geopolitical events that happened. If you see, construction did not stop, and even launching project did not stop. And this is one of the reasons that attracted me to join Arada, because it's an organization, a young organization, booming very fast. They have the mindset of innovation. They have the mindset of digital integration. They are most of the staff. They are young. And their vision, as starting from Sheikh, starting from to Mr. Ahmed Al-Khushabi, their vision is we keep going. We are stronger. Nothing will stop us, because they believe in AI integration. They believe in innovation. They know that the next era is more challenging for construction. And nowadays, we are running in parallel in Dubai 7 towers, okay, and accessing Abu Dhabi with more buildings. So wider, faster range, and I think the competition will be harder between developers in Dubai. Disregard any events, because they have the strong foundation, they have the strong mindset.
That's such an important point, I think. Focusing on times of disruption, times of challenge, and using that to identify a competitive edge. How do you become better? How do you take this further? How do you improve so that if something were to happen, there's always be some disruption, but if there was disruption again, you're not as focused, you're not as challenged by it. So I'm delighted that digital is helping with that, and AI, and I know we've focused a lot on AI so far and the digital side, and obviously that's what Procore does, and that's where we support. So it's really helpful to see that how the impact of that is on the construction industry. And I think all of us will attest to, whilst this challenge has been going on, if you drive down the street, the cranes are still moving, the buildings are still going up, you can see level by level. It doesn't stop, it just gets faster and harder and more competitive. So I'm grateful that as a technology company, we can support that and make that transition easier. We mentioned right at the beginning that you're in the middle of your PhD at the moment. I want to take a slight change of tack there and think about, how do you translate the academics of your PhD into real life concepts that are practical for people on the site and at the foreman level?
Yeah. As I mentioned, my PhD thesis, apart from academic side, it came from site issues. It came from frustration. Which allows me, it was an experience of 20 years delivering vertical development, delivering high-rise building. What I'm doing right now, I'm assessing relations between integration between AI tools, integration with digital twin, integration with model, and see how this fully what is the output of that one, and compare it with the demand of the operation team. Make a wider comparison between what we are delivering, what is the advantage of having this full integration on speed of construction, on quality of the data that's being delivered, the traceability of the information, accuracy of the information that's being delivered from the construction, dealing with the execution as not a delivery stage of a master plan or a project, dealing is as a one phase or a transition period in order to deliver, and using some method of quantitative analysis, assessing this relation statistically, and then also taking it further as academic way, and with a qualitative method, doing interviews with the leaders, with several chairmen, and validate this information, validate this result, in order to come up with a framework for the field, a framework, because my aim in this thesis to provide a framework, to provide a tool for developers in order to use it and to have it as a guidance for them, because people believe in something assessed, something established and tested. So they won't always take an idea. They won't take an experience or a background or something. They need something being proved, assessed, certified. That's why I believe in providing a framework for main developers. That will be the output of my thesis.
Perfect. So this framework that will be used for the developers to connect all of those different pieces together that you've mentioned, all of the stakeholders, all of the different teams that come on site. If you think about, imagine in a few years, that's in effect, they're using the framework. What's different in the day of a life of somebody on site when they're using the framework compared to today?
What's happening today? We are dealing with the static elements. We are dealing with the spreadsheets. We are dealing with a documentation stage of handing over project. Like across the past, let's say across the projects of 3-4 developers now in the pipeline under construction, I can tell you that most of them, they spare. This is my indicator, to be honest. They spare 2 months of handing over of a project with 1,500 units. So from my experience, this will be minimum 1.5 years. Okay,
wow.
Especially when you have service apartment, when you have hotels, that you have full MEP system, you have full facility, you have a back of house complicated more than the front of house area. You have all authority involved from Dubai Municipality, DDA, and other authorities. I believe those developers will struggle. Where people, when they are looking, because I'm publishing my thesis by next summer, having the framework being published, they will see what Procore, what other service provider can provide for this stage, for design and execution stage, and they can compare it what they are doing. So I believe it's not something that they can compare, because it's totally different area.
So talking about reducing that speed of handover, that timed handover, increasing the speed, reducing the time, I should say. That's obviously so important for all developers, because as a developer, the capital is king, right? You need to reinvest that as quickly as possible into a new unit, into a new development, into a new plan. Yeah. The shorter you can make that cycle between a finished unit and handing over and capturing that money and then investing it somewhere else, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the top priority for all developers.
Yeah, let me like phrase it in a different way. Let's not say it like as shorten the handing over period or make it longer. Let's make the handing over sufficient for that particular type of the unit. Sufficient. What I mean by sufficient mean having the operation team take their time reviewing document, testing the system, commissioning all these services properly, having all their staff deployed on board in order to be ready to receive the customer. Compared to having a customer stepping in with no service left operating, no retail area operating, along with some laborers working on the higher level of the tower. It's this mess created by wrong allocated time for handing over or wrong transition period, by focusing on number of slabs per month, focusing on the quantity of the concrete, or focusing on how speed we are doing finishes per day, or etc. Forgetting what the customer need, forgetting what is the requirement of the operation, facility management, and the service provider who will run the business and deliver your product to the customer. So let's make it in this framework. Let's make it in this way that we need to have a sufficient time for operation to run the building.
I think you're spot on there with the sufficient time to deliver that. And also what you've mentioned is having not just the time, but having more detail, more evidence, more support of everything that's happened at that stage. As I think for everybody in Dubai, as a resident, as a homeowner, anything like that, to have that detail is something that we haven't had so far. If your AC unit breaks in your home, you find out what it is and when it was installed find out what it is by opening up the duct. To find out when it was installed, you've got no chance. Somebody could give you an estimate. But if you've got that pack, if you've got that data, if you've handed that over to the operations team, and they can predict when things are going to go wrong, when they're going to need replacing, because they've got that history, that data from all of the other units, it's not just improving their role as facilities operations team. It's not just improving the developer's role because they know what works, what doesn't work, they can see how that works, but it's actually improving the lives of the people who are moving into those properties, whether they are hotels or whether they are residents. It's really going to impact everybody across the whole chain.
Sure.
So what do you think the biggest impact would be for having this framework in? Where are we going to see it and feel it the most?
My framework, it's ended by improving handing over efficiency, enhancing customer experience. So this can be processed in three ways. This can be processed by availability of the information. This can be processed by having the service provider earlier in the project. This can be processed by auditable and traceable and reliable information that's been provided by the execution team. Going one step before, which is the input of this model, which is the integration between site capturing instrument, BIM model, and the interfacing portal. So the tangible impact of this framework is providing a manuals, providing a log, soft log. Like what I mean by soft log, it happened with me like in 2019, where one of the project was ready and just I was new to that company, and I was like in a team of handing over, and they took me to a room that 10 times of this space where I need to hand over the project to the operator. They open the room, it's full of hard copy drawings, including services, and some of the drawing with the stains of tea, stains of coffee and all. So yeah, we are talking about projects with billions, and we are handing over with the paper. And trust me, if you lose some of these bundles, that you're gonna lose a full system. Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't know how they're gonna convert this paper into a system that will allow the service provider to see what's above the ceiling, to see what's defected, what's there, what's under the floor. So the tangible impact that will come from my framework that will allow a service provider by one click understand where is the problem, what happened, and which system, and who did this service, and where is the warranty of that. One click. And I believe your team providing this efficiently as we experienced before.
Thank you. You've talked a lot there about the data and the fact that it's in paper format today and how much a volume of data there is. If you think now you've delivered more than 12 towers and the types of data that you can access now, what's the one thing that you wish you'd had on your very first tower?
Different manager. Yeah, because as I mentioned before, the top leader or the leader of the master plan or the project, who decide that shall we invest in that one, who believe in that system, if you compare the previous management, the previous mindset with where we are right now, what is the leaders look for? Looking to Arada, looking to Emaar, looking to what's the vision of Abu Rashid Al-Abbar. So the mindset now, they are looking on innovation, they are looking on digital integration during execution, because it's not about who's faster, it's about it's about who's better. What is the best quality? Where is the customer happy, here or there? So I believe the mindset now is changed.
So the mindset is much more around the customer, delivering what they need and what they want, because the reputation
definitely
makes it easier then to deliver the next units and continue to grow.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about that mindset of the customer, is there 1, 2, or 3 things that you think are most going to impact and make them continue to invest or continue to come back to you as a brand?
Nowadays, the customer or investor, especially in Dubai, they come with the knowledge. They know because they experienced, and they experienced several units. They experienced several developers, and they are looking what is the best. Because if we are looking to investors again, they need to rent or sell the unit. So let's say customer, the happiness level of the customer, that's the driver factor for the investment. Okay, so customers, they are not bothered by what happened during execution. They are not bothered by what challenges that the execution team faced during construction. They are focusing on who's running the building, how efficiently they are servicing these units, how efficiently they are addressing the snags, addressing the defect in the building. And that will also be the driver of the customer, of the market demand, I believe.
Perfect. I think what you're saying there is it comes down to the quality of the build, the trust in the information, and the support that they receive ongoing in managing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. We're going to move to some rapid fire questions now, Faik.
Okay.
And I am going to read these. So in 1 to 3 sentences, what do you think the most underestimated challenge in the UAE construction is today? Data. Okay. Not even a sentence, just one word. That's perfect. What is one skill that every senior director needs to have or develop in 2026?
Yeah, I believe in a director level, they need to select a team that they have the enough capacity to deal with AI integration.
AI and the ability to use it. Perfect. What one trend is shaping the next wave of project delivery?
Quality of the service.
And that's the service after?
After.
Okay. Now, this is a tough one.
Yeah.
If you could fix one gap in the industry, just one, with a click of a button, what gap would that be? I'm sure there are many.
Yeah.
You now got to think of the most important one.
Yeah. Okay. In one button, I need to cancel what we call it deadline of the project.
Okay, now I know I said rapid fire, but I need to know more about that.
Yeah, because if you see most of the tenders, most of the projects, so they, as a developer, they are taking the execution baseline, or they are taking the execution phase as the project start to end, and dealing it as this is the only project that we have. Once we complete BCC, we are done. So I need to remove this understanding. I need to change this understanding because the project, it's having the customer in their unit happy. This is the project, not achieving BCC at that day and that's it, turn your back and we finish the project, move to the next.
It's a more holistic view of everything from everyone. Okay, Faik, Kaizen questions just for you. For you, what are you doing today to improve yourself by 1%?
By 1%, get myself more exposed to AI systems.
Very good. I was going to say, for me, it's drinking less coffee, but AI even better.
Yeah.
Okay, for the company you work for Arada, what are you doing to improve your team or your company by 1%?
For Arada, if it's for different company, I would say something. But for Arada, because they have the atmosphere of one team, they have the atmosphere of a family. However, I need to do my best to shorten the gap between the operation and the execution.
And for the industry, what are you doing to improve the industry, UAE construction focused in UAE, by 1%? This is for all of us.
Yeah. Having my practical framework at least implemented in one high-rise building.
I think we would all love that if it makes our experience living there much better. I think it sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us today.